exceed 10 billion naira. In 2023 alone, the ministry completed 360 road rehabilitation projects and inspection exercises are ongoing in all 6 geopolitical zones. To improve transparency and oversight, state engineering chambers will now be involved in monitoring federal road projects within their respective states. Among the projects receiving significant attention are Abuja Road Lot 1, which covers 118 kilometers at a cost of 275 billion naira, with 30% of the work completed. Abuja Road Lot 2 spans 164 kilometers and is estimated to cost 502 billion naira, with 150 billion naira already released for 6 key sections. The Enugu-Onitsha Road, covering 72 kilometers, is valued at 150 billion naira, of which 45 billion naira has been disbursed. Work on the Abuja-Kano Road is ongoing, with 220 billion naira being allocated and 30% of the funding already utilized. The Bauchi-Jigawa sections of the highway are fully funded. Construction is also progressing on the Dembe-Brass Road, with 30% of the 156 billion naira cost already released. The 35-kilometer Port Harcourt-Bodo-Boni Road is nearing completion at a cost of 200 billion naira. The Benin-Ifon-Akure Road, spanning 108.4 kilometers, has received 30% disbursement as well, with the Akure-Ado-Ekiti Road, which covers 256 kilometers, being executed at a cost of 761 billion naira, with a similar funding release rate. Newly approved or revised projects include the Bunuma Road in Borno and Adamawa State, which has been revised from 15.4 billion naira to 61.76 billion naira. The Maraba Kefi Road in Nasarawa, undergoing dualization with over 43.6 kilometers, is now valued at 76 billion naira. The list is going on, and I must take a pause here. You're just hearing billions and billions of naira, trillions and billions of naira, and with a completion span of 30%. I don't know if it's a round figure thing we are doing 30%. But anyway, we can all see that Dave Umahi is working. We can see that the Minister of Works is working, especially after the incident at the Nasarawa flyover, the collapse, which caused at least 3 lives to be lost. It was very brutal, and sometimes I hate to say that I don't like us to hold on until something bad happens for us to know the right thing, because people started raising alarm over that flyover for a while, and it was as though the government wasn't listening until calamity before people. So we do not always have to wait for those kind of things to happen. But be that as it may, families are being compensated and more works are ongoing. You can see that the works are being spread across the different geopolitical zones in Nigeria. So there's a lot already being ongoing, and I'm hoping that this doesn't just end at the 30% work rate. Let it go beyond that. We want to see 100/10%. This money being released, taxpayers' monies are part of it. So Nigerians and the citizens of this country will be looking forward to see that the work goes on as said. It doesn't just end on paper. We do not want to see 45% completed next time we come here to talk about, to review the work being done. But I'm hoping that it doesn't end that way. So looking forward to see what the Minister of Works and his team are going to do. But one thing I must mention is the fact that they are now domesticating the federal works. So at the state level, you can now monitor what's being done. Because, sometimes people just say it's federal work, so it doesn't concern the state. But now they're getting the state involved in the work, which is a good thing to do. So let's look forward to see how speedy the work can get.
Okay, very important that they are involving the states this time around, because I'm just hearing trillions and billions committed to just road projects. And I think that if we can commit trillions and billions of naira, which in some years is not the budget of even the educational sector and even the health sector, then we must call for accountability at this point in time. We must call for transparency, because, this bad construction only shows that development without integrity, as I see here, is unsustainable. So we need to do better with these. We need to do better with our constructions. We need to do better. If we can commit, and I'm repeating again, if we can commit such huge amounts of money for, I don't want to say just road projects, then we should be able to follow up. We should be able to monitor, and ensure that there is standard delivery in such projects. So I just want us to having a better Nigeria is even having good infrastructure. So I just hope they do better flyovers next time. And even I heard they are also constructing one, I think Abuja, Kaduna also.
Yeah.
So I just hope we put more, not just more money, but we put more into evaluating all of these things, checking that they are standard delivery and, there are no lapses again. So let's move on to the next news. Navy destroys 10 illegal refineries, seizes over 27,000 liters of stolen products in Niger Delta. In a major crackdown on oil theft and illegal refining, operatives of the Nigerian Navy attached to Forward Operating Base (FOB) Escravos have dismantled 10 illegal refining sites across creeks in the Niger Delta. The operation, part of Operation Delta Sanity 2, was aimed at curbing economic sabotage and increasing Nigeria's daily crude oil output. Speaking in Warri, Delta State, the commanding officer of FOB Escravos Navy, Captain Ikena Okoloago, described the effort as a strategic move guided by intelligence and the directives of the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Gala. The dismantling of the sites led to the seizure of approximately 20,950 liters of stolen crude oil and 6,395 liters of illegally refined automotive gas oil. The products were hidden in 92 dugout pits, 60 polythene sacks, and 2 locally fabricated ovens. Key operations included July 1st, 3 sites at Obodo, Omadino, Warri South, West Local Government Area, with 7,200 liters of crude and 1,575 liters of refined agro. July 12 and 19, 2 sites at Otegele. So let's just round this up. We know that this has carried on for a long time now, and this is not even to say that the Nigerian Navy isn't doing their best or they are not capable of bringing these people into justice. But what we see here is an institutionalized problem through local community, through some underground bodies, through weak enforcement, and I think even the states as well. There has been silence in this area for a long time because each and every day on the news we see these problems. We see oil theft, we see illegal refining and whatnot. Even some of the black markets and all of those stuff being sold, petrol being sold to us are from some of these places, because where else will they get oil to come by the roadside and sell to people? So I think we need to do better with bringing such acts into justice rather. And what the Navy have done is commendable, but they have to put in more tactic. They have to be more strategic with this. We need a deeper community. Our community must be seriously involved. We need to integrate sort of like a framework for the community, let them understand this. We need to put in place task forces. We need to put in place intelligence operators and, just ensure that everybody understands that this is well, how should I put it? This is affecting our economy in a bad way.
I like that you've put it that everybody must now be aware that whatever you do that's illegal around the refineries affects the economy. That means it affects you and I. It may not affect you directly, but somehow it comes back around to affect you. But I must also emphasize that tax force thing, I'm nudging to it. It has to stand. That's why I think I'm somebody who always advocates for community policing. Make the people in the community become their own security chiefs, security guards, and you'd realize that some of this criminality will reduce drastically. So I'm nudging to us having task force around refineries to curb illegal refineries. Some of these people will tell you that they are going into this because they do not have jobs. So
Yes, exactly.
So anybody who is able to refine something illegally has a skill. Why don't we capitalize on those skills and train them and see what becomes of them in the bigger world? How can we utilize those skills that they have, those talents? You'll be amazed how, with little or nothing, they're refining oil. They're refining things and able to push them across. That's intelligence. That's being very smart. That's thinking on the spot. And it's what a lot of people have to spend the millions of naira to go and learn. But the local guys, they have this knowledge in their head and looking for how to explore. So why don't we tap into that potential and expand the scope of things around the refinery? We cannot just push them away. I think it's enough of arresting and locking people up and just keeping them to languish away. That's whole talent we are wasting away. So let us do well to bring them in, train them if we must train them. A lot of them need to be empowered.
True.
Many of the people who go into oil bunkering are jobless people who are looking for means to survive.
Exactly.
So if they're empowered, I'm not saying it will end the whole oil bunkering thing, but to a level, it will bring it down, at least to a minimum. It will bring it down. Because you can even see women are involved. You see young teenagers are involved.
Yes.
So when we say oil bunkering, a lot of people just think it's men. It's not just men who are involved. Women are involved, children. Young children, you see a child who is 9, 10 already understands what to do around bunkering.
Wants to survive.
Because the only thing in the head is how to survive. It's survival. So they're not thinking, oh, how does this affect me? They don't even think about how it affects their health. Because if there's I'm not sure anybody will willingly see that and walk into it.
True.
As long as you have your sense intact. So you see, we have a lot to do around awareness, around sensitization, around empowerment. And I'm hoping that the government of Delta State will see this as an opportunity to expand the empowerment scheme already happening in the state. So let's move on to the last story now. Stakeholders urge full port automation to end cargo delays and boost trade. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, LCCI, has called for urgent reforms in Nigeria's maritime sector, demanding full automation of cargo clearance processes and redeployment of digital scanners at major ports to address chronic inefficiencies. In a recent statement, LTCI President Gabriel Idahosa criticized the slow pace of Nigeria's port operations compared to regional counterparts such as Ghana and South Africa. He noted that the average cargo dwell time at Apapa, Lagos stands at 26 days, far longer than 5 to 7 days observed at other West African ports. He warned that these systemic challenges were eroding Nigeria's competitiveness, citing reports that global shipping lines are diverting cargo to neighboring countries due to delays and unpredictability at Nigerian ports. Idahosa emphasized that a swift implementation of the long-delayed National Single Window NSW project is essential. Reports indicate that the U.S. Coast Guard and Russian export stakeholders are increasingly turning to Togo's Lomé port, citing better clearance efficiency, lower costs, and fewer bureaucratic hurdles. The LCCI also criticized the Nigeria's port authorities' recent 15% tariff increase, warning that the hike imposes further burdens on freight operators already struggling with inflation and exchange rate volatility. He also highlighted the delays caused by excessive customs queries on imported goods, which not only slow down clearance, but in some cases open the door for abuse. The chamber has now called for deeper collaboration with customs to streamline procedures and eliminate arbitrary bottlenecks. Despite the challenges, the LCCI acknowledged some positive development in the logistics ecosystem. Idahosa also commended the Nigerian Railway Corporation for expanding cargo transport by rail from Apapa to Lagos and Ibadan, describing it as a vital step away from road dependence. Meanwhile, other stakeholders, including the Importers Association of Nigeria, IMAN, echoed the call for reforms. Stakeholders are continuing to urge collaboration among the Nigeria Customs Service, the Federal Ministry of Transportation, and other key agencies to fast-track reforms and reposition Nigeria's port for global competitiveness. Is it not frustrating to still read that we still have ports not cleared for, cargoes not cleared for at 26 days at least, when our counterparts are talking 5-7 days? You can imagine how business can get slow and how business can get fast. And sometimes you see that we are the cause of our problems. Why? We are saying how sometimes I'm very proud of the achievement of Nigeria, and then sometimes you read some news stories and they just kill your spirit again. We have imports. We push for imports to come in. We have businesses coming in that should boom and expand our economy. And then we have these things truncated because of arbitrary authorities. We have these things, truncated by bottlenecks and a whole lot of things. Why are we not moving with the time? The world has gone digital. Other ports that are doing their clearance faster are adopting a faster means, which is a digitalized means of clearance. Why are we still doing manual in 2025? Why are we still slowing things down? You can see the frustration in Mr. Daosa's voice, because that is money going into other countries. Money that should have come here is being diverted to other places. And that is how we do until we shut the doors and we are wondering why the economy dwindling. It is things like this. It's high time we moved away from, just saying to doing. Practically, let us fix the thing. What are those things that we need to do? What training do the people at the customs office need to go in? What collaboration does the Ministry of Transportation and the customs service need to go into to ensure that all of these things can be sorted once and for all? Because it's not a good look for Nigeria at all, if you ask me. What policies do we need? What kind of things do we need to do? And the truth is, it's not as if we don't know these things. Mm-hmm. It's really just to push them or to get them done. We are all using our smartphone. We see how we order things and then they arrive in no time. So why are we not doing all of that? He's also complaining about the plenty. If you know anybody who does importation business, or if they tell you the stress they go through to clear their goods, you realize that you must be very dogged and very strong-willed to still import things into Nigeria.
Yeah. So it is very, very sad. And we have to complain about different sectors in our country. It's very, very sad that our ports are broken, and we are not talking about, maybe some heavy equipment spoiled the ground, spoiled some equipments are not working. We need to fix new ones and all of that. It's very sad that these ports are broken because of corrupt systems, because of bribery, because of our scanners are not working. We are not because of inefficiencies from the custom. It's really sad. It saddens me too much, if I must put it that way. And we have to even rely on other shipping lines, like even neighboring countries like Togo, for us to ship our vessels and ship goods. It's really sad, because Nigeria is one of the biggest and largest has the biggest and largest economy in West Africa. But we have to suffer all this just because of our system is poor, because of our system is broken, because of negligence in some of these little things we can, solve from our end. And I just it's not like Nigerians are exhausted of, or Nigerians are anti progress, but we are exhausted of promises. We want things to work. That's why sometimes when we see news like this, just take a deep sigh and you don't even know what to say. We just want progress in our country. There is way to go. We are in a digitalized world. We can automate everything. We can do digital tracking to clear goods. We can, there has been promises of automation for a long time, but we didn't see it happen because there are people there who are stifling this progress. There are people there who will not rest because they want to gain, because of they are seeking, rents, they are seeking money, they are seeking something from people. I think the major problem here is this inefficiency in people that work in this sector, in this called middlemen. There is a serious problem there. Everybody just wants to, gain something, earn something at the detriment of others. But the way forward is what we always like to look at, what we always like to call for. if we can do, we always advocate for private public partnerships. If that is what will help us incentivize this sector, then we should do it. Technology is there. We cannot turn away from it. Like Chinatu, we always say it has come to stay. We must see how we can use it to, find solutions to our problems. The government must. It's high time they call the custom service, restore enforcement wherever there are poor or weak laws or policy that needs to be reworked on, that needs to be re-strategized. They should do it. It is the right time to do it, or else we'll keep losing out. We'll keep our economic, like China to say, will keep on dwindling. So it's high time that we looked into this, and we are talking about global relevance here. We know what some of these things can do for us. Some of these rail lines, some of these vessel lines rather, are what links us with the global world. So I think we should do better with it. And yes, it's kudos to even the railway cargo system. It's working, but at the end of the day, we do not just need one. Even if what the business people have been, they are happy that it has reduced the cost of them transporting goods from by as high as 60%, and that's a good one. But we don't just need to rely on one railway system. We need more railway cargo system. Yes.
All right, you heard from Cynthia. We do not just need to rely on one transport system. We need multiple. We need diverse so that we can have alternatives at any point in time. That's what business does. Business thrives on variety. But we have to wrap up now on the news by bringing you up to speed with the headlines we brought your way. And the first is, federal government begins reconstruction of collapsed Kefi flyover and pushes ahead with trillions in road projects.
A Navy destroys 10 illegal refineries, seizes over 27,000 liters of stolen products in Niger Delta.
And finally, stakeholders urge full support automation to end cargo delays and boost trade. That's how we call it a wrap on the news segment. Stay with us as we bring you the discussion segment. Don't go anywhere. Still Idea Morning Digest.
And welcome to Science on the Streets, the show where we explore science, technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship in everyday life right here on the streets. I'm your host, Cynthia Bassi, and today we will be talking about something that is helping power cars, buses, and even some homes in an eco-friendlier way, and changing the way we think about energy in Nigeria. So today I am live at Airport Road, Abuja, at NIPCO filling station to talk to people about what they know about CNG. What is it about? Why is it such a big deal? Let's go on the streets and talk to people about what they know about CNG.
Compressed natural gas. But what is it really? How is it different from petrol? Why are people saying it's cheaper and cleaner? Let's explore all that through a simple but powerful experiment anyone can understand. Let's imagine each of these balloons contains the type of gas used in engines. CNG is mostly made of methane gas, a clean, light fuel that burns efficiently. Petrol, on the other hand, contains heavier hydrocarbons. It's more volatile, produces more smoke, and burns hotter. To demonstrate, we'll simulate gas creation using something many of you already have at home: baking soda and vinegar. The reaction creates carbon dioxide gas, which we'll use to inflate our balloons. It's not exactly CNG or petrol gas, but for visual learning, it helps us understand how gases behave. Watch this. When we mix baking soda with vinegar, it fizzes up and produces gas, just like fuel releases energy in an engine. Let's see it in action. Boom! No black smoke, no oily residue. That's because methane, the main gas in CNG, is a simple molecule that produces mostly carbon dioxide and water when it burns. Cleaner fuel, cleaner air. Let's go on one step further. If I pass these clothes through the smoke and rinse them, see the difference? Petrol smoke stains and pollutes, just like what it does to engines and the environment. But the clothes from CNG, much cleaner. This is one reason why CNG is seen as eco-friendlier. So, when next you see a CNG bus or hear someone talking about switching their keke to gas, you understand the science behind it. It's backed by cleaner combustion, better efficiency, and real economic sense. Let's take it to the street and hear what people have to say about this.
But only the challenge where we get is the thing is not available as we suppose, because if we get a standard one like this NIPCO, GOSA, like 2 or 3 places in Abuja, so we don't have any problem for CNG. It's a good to be used, so very relief for everybody, and if you are using it, we are enjoying it. So, but the challenge where we get as at now, the where they are selling it is not much. It's no more plenty as we supposed to be.
Yes, now feel like they buy. I don't, because I see long queue for the CNG and the thing is not available. Why government are not making it available to us? Even our garage now, some of what will give us, but to go and queue get it is getting a problem.
A friend that has a CNG car, I've been using the car before. So when I'm using it, quite alright, I'm enjoying it. But in terms of getting the CNG gas, it will take you a lot of time before getting it. So that's why I prepare a fuel. Let me just go for my fuel car so that I can get the fuel. Anywhere I went, I'll just get a fuel. I prepared that than the CNG, quite alright. But if the thing was available everywhere, with time, we will now go for that. Yes, for now we are ready for the fuel. Yes, we are welcome. The right decision, quite alright. It's a very right decision because of the climate weather. Yes, I support that. We are welcome. Yeah.
Because this CNG stuff now, we see a lot of people queue for it. It means they don't have availability. The availability of their station not really much. So unlike fuel, it's true you actually get fuel and it's expensive, especially with our current economy. But getting this CNG stuff now, sometimes I see when I pass, sometimes I see cars queued and people will tell you, my car has been here for 2 days, for 3 days, you get. So if you ask me, I think the fuel stuff is still okay. I don't know, but my husband has another view of it. But me, I feel the fuel stuff is still okay.
And the government has to make it affordable for us to do the CNG and everything. Or if the government can help us do it on our cars so that it will be easier, so that we know we are just buying. And for the fact that it doesn't even last long, I think it takes only a day for those who work throughout the day. That's I think about 3-5 they said full the gas tank or cylinder also. So I think that won't be enough for someone to use for a week. At least something for a week. You can just full your tank and use it for a week without going into a fuel station. That's for cars like this that doesn't consume. So why should I be stressing myself following all this queue? Just like that is actually stressful for me.
Okay, so if it is made widely available,
I
is it
think
something you can help on?
if the price should come down for the CNG, maybe.
So you think 3.5 is too much?
Not the price, for the conversion. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
In the sense that one is economically good at this present time for us. But the only thing I need to say concerning how we are suffering for it is for government to provide more gas to come in and more filling stations to open for people to be buying. If that one can be there, well, it's good for everybody to be used.
Trying to get CNG. You understand, but NIPCO is the major dealer. NIPCO is the major dealer now. And hundreds of cars are converting every month. That put a lot of pressure on the available infrastructure by NIPCO. You know, when I started...
A very necessary break we had. Welcome back. It's now time for the Idea Morning discussion segment. In a time when Nigeria grapples with rising inequality, sluggish economic growth, and shrinking global competitiveness, the question of how to unlock sustainable and inclusive development is more urgent than ever. Today, we'll be exploring the theme, free trade and inclusive economic growth, reimagining Nigeria's development path. And joining us is someone whose work is helping shape that reimagination. Favor Adeboye is a pro-freedom journalist and development advocate committed to advancing ethical governance, gender equality, and economic freedom. Her published work spans both a local and international platform, where she has consistently highlighted the importance of transparent policy, market reforms, and civic engagement in building resilient economies. Currently, a fellow at the Minira Initiative for Economic Advancements. It's good to have you join us on I Am the Favor.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Okay, Cynthia.
Yeah, Favor, welcome. Yes, so you're a free trade fellow, and we have a whole lot of questions concerning our economy have so many questions to it, so many questions we want to ask. But first of all, let's just start with you telling us you are a strong advocate. You already know of the free trade and ethical governance. So what personal or professional experiences shaped your views on free trade and open markets?
Okay, yes. Actually, there's a lot of them, right? But I'll talk about the one that resonated the most with the audience. That is a very common one in Nigeria, and that's the issue of border closure in 2019. You know, I was at uni then. I know students had the idea of, we have some basic amenities that we must not finish in our house, and it includes rice. That's a major one. So imagine coming out from school one day and then you want to purchase a food and you're saying that this price has skyrocketed, like times 3 that your price was like, okay, what's happening? And then you know to viral then that they've closed the border and Nigerians must purchase local rice. So the foreign ones became expensive to access. Now even the local ones too became even more expensive. So that experience then, I just had it in my hand. I didn't know much about food trade then. But then knowing about food trade, I was like, okay, fine. If border closure, which is supposed to enhance local production of food, to make things easy for local producers, is causing this problem. Markets were shut down, women, people that saw food could not have access to, purchase food at the price they used to access it. Operations are, when the cost of food arises, it affects every other thing. And then when you want to purchase something, you have to pay more. The purchasing power is affected. So I was like, okay, fine. If free trade, before there was free trade, so when the border was closed, that wasn't free trade anymore. It is protectionism. Now, that tells me something. Free trade enhances a merger of goods. When people import food, it's giving the consumers the right to choose from anything they want to choose. They're not forced to buy local products.
Okay, I need a little clarification to that.
Okay.
Does that mean it lowers the cost of goods?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the impact.
Okay.
Because when people are being confined, we all know there are some systemic issues in Nigeria. First, Nigeria is trying economically, but there's some systemic issues that we cannot avoid but tackle first.
Okay.
And that is the issue of infrastructure. When the operational cost is expensive, you cannot avoid expensive food. But when the border is open for people to, bring in their food, the consumers themselves have the right to choose freely. And that is already telling the producers something. The producers locally, you have to reduce your price. You have to cut costs. If you don't, consumers, of course, will divert. They want to buy from you. They'll go for local and cheaper, foreign and cheaper products. I know we are all humans. We all have this method of, I go for whatever is cheaper. Even if they tell you one, you have to price it down with your Nigerians.
Favor, it's good that you've made that a very practical example. But, one of the reasons I was cited for the border to be closed was because we wanted, or the government wanted more local production. That was the idea, to encourage more local producers to produce, to farm, than relying on external, sources. Because over time we've had a situation where our local goods are not consumed. People are more interested in external goods. So that over-dependence on the things coming in became a burden. And that was why we now said, or the government now said, no. When we close this border, we'll encourage local rice farmers. So I'm wondering, why is your argument not about the government practically empowering those local farmers in Nigeria? Why should they not be more empowered? Why should they not be more pushed to carry out the work? Why are you focused on let the border be open for things to come in? Why not let the border be closed and let us have things in-house done? Because trust me, I am sure that if the local rice farmers, for instance, are properly empowered, there won't be any need to think of going outside to outsource rice. So why is your argument for the external, not internal?
Okay, my argument is not against internal and for the external.
Okay.
I mentioned that there are systemic issues that you've not tackled in Nigeria. And that includes what you just mentioned, empowerment of local farmers. When I said the operational cost is higher. So when the government did not create an enabling environment for producers locally, what will happen? They will have to, use their own personal costs to source, to, make business flow, and then add the same cost that they do. It's business. You can't run at a loss. You have to make the same product expensive. So, and when it comes to free trade, Nigeria, it's not only comes to Nigeria, it's unique to almost all governments across the globe. They don't see a present problem. Of course, it's been existing, but they don't see a push. They won't do anything.
Okay.
Now, free trade is a push. This has been existing for decades. If the border is not opened, they won't see the need to empower local producers.
Okay.
Do you get that?
So
I feel like that will propel them. When they see that the local farmers are suffering and foreigners are enjoying, they'll be pressed to do something real quick.
Okay. So far from your stance or your perspective, how do you think that free trade policies can practically improve the lives of everyday Nigerians, especially young people? How can it? I know you've started talking about the impact, but how can it really? Do we get to see the impact? Am I experiencing that impact? Are you experiencing that impact? Let us know practically.
Okay, so basically it does. It is already. And it's
okay.
also a better, impact on Nigerians if implemented the way it should.
Oh, okay.
Now, one of those is standard of living. It should be improved. Exposure does a lot of things to people. When you're confined within a particular area, you will know what's going on out there. But when you get to taste something from a better person, you'll be like, oh, wow, this can actually get better. Even as a local producer, when you produce things, you've been doing things the way you should do it, within what you think, what you know as a person. Until you now see a foreigner or a foreign producer do something better, you'll be pressed to innovate. And when you innovate, it will have direct impact on your consumers because they will also get to enjoy your innovation.
Okay, speaking of innovation.
Okay.
Yes, let's throw it back to the border.
Okay.
With this innovation you've mentioned. Innovation is relative. When we are talking about free trade, the economy, when we're talking about business, you understand, buying and selling, it could mean anything. It could mean illegal, importation, smuggling and all of those things. And Nigerians, whether we like it or not, we clung to all of these things. We like it. We like over-regulations. We clung to some of these, ban. We clung to currency distortions. So I want to ask, like in 2019, there was the land border was closed to transport rice. into the country. And this we saw an increase in inflation. So we saw an increase in inflation, and we still saw high rate in smuggling of rice, this local product. So what can you say about smuggling?
Okay, so basically, smuggling is a result of it's a switch of rice. I know smuggling comes as a result of overregulation, like you mentioned, when the government is telling you pass the normal way, which they believe will cost them more. It's of course we tell them let's just find another way to get this. And Nigerians, even any person, any human will be like, I can do this other way around, and it will cost me a dime. So when I go the other way around and get my things, instead of passing through the border, going through processes that's even bureaucratic, and having to pay to get things done.
So how do you think now we can, reduce this for, a better future?
Empowerment of those at the border. That's number one.
When you say empowerment, how do you empower people at the border?
Okay,
With arms?
I would not with arms. I would do all of that. That's where innovation, like I said, innovation is very relative. People, even thieves can be innovative when it comes to stealing. Of course, they commit heist, and when you commit the heist, okay, now the mask they wear is that not innovation?
Yes.
Everybody just go and just show their face. That will put them at arm's risk for the policeman, of course. So innovation is very relative, like you said. So now, when I talk about empowerment, it may be empowering them with advanced technology. I wrote a piece recently on this since in fellowship about our bureaucracy and poor facilities is hindering fruit to the Nigerian borders. And when I talk about bureaucracy, when there are so many things to go through at the border, you're transporting a good that is not up to, let's say, 100K at the very least. I know that's barely impossible at the very 100K. And then you have to go through a long process, spend 2 days at the border just to import how much goods.
You'll be tired.
Now, smugglers will be like, instead of going through this stress, and just pass the way, I don't have to pay money. I don't have to go through the whole stress of getting checked by different custom officers. At a border, you can see about 10 people within just a kilometer. That's bureaucratic processes. Now, when the government empower them, number one, they are informed. We need to reduce these things. Bureaucracy is not good for business. Yeah. Number 2, empower them with technology. The whole stress they go through, manually checking goods. When they have technology, all these things won't be there. And even a smuggler, in his right common sense, will know that things are not improved. Instead of putting myself at risk of being caught, I'm just go to the normal process. Yeah. And then security too. Let's say there's adage that says it's more like an age-old thing. It's a common thing. When they say in a crate of egg, there will still be one bad egg. Now, no matter how much people try, no matter how much good people try not to smuggle goods, there will still be that stubborn person that wants to smuggle. And that's where security surveillance comes in. When there is technology, you have to be innovative with that. True. Survey. And people that will be there have to be active. That will be actively working. When they survey people, those that smuggle things in, and one person is caught, trust me, those people that smuggle, they will think, what if I'm caught as well like somebody? Do you get? So when they see these things in place, they won't be encouraged to even smuggle. They will be scared.
Okay. I like your submission around empowerment and how we can, through innovation, make sure that things are easier when it comes to importation. And it was very interesting because right on the show earlier, during the news segment, we spoke about how the Lagos Chamber of Commerce is raising alarm about automating port clearance. They're saying that in Lagos, it takes at least 26 days for goods to be cleared.
Can you see that?
Compared to other countries like Ghana, I think, and Togo. So making sure that importers are now towing other routes to bring in goods. What's happening to our economy? We are breaking, we are losing out. And so I really buy this idea. But now let's speak as a fellow with a Minera initiative. How has your work revealed the relationship between free trade and human development?
Okay.
What's that relationship? I feel like there's a thin line, but I'd like you to define it. From your work so far with a Minera initiative, what would you say is that relationship between free trade and human development, especially in Nigeria?
Okay, so it has so many chances to improve human development in Nigeria and even in Africa. And my work at Untapped over the past 4 months, 5 and 15 months now, I've learned a lot about free trade and how it can impact human development. And listen, I've mentioned some of these things earlier. And one of these things is when people experience free trade, their standard of living will increase. It will be higher. That's number one. And also, this issue of being economically empowered is really a thing. The word is actually underrated. It's really, really a thing. When someone is empowered economically, there's some things that they will not even have time to do. Like, they won't even think of even doing these things. Now, in one of my articles at United, I mentioned how Botswana have been able, they also have a border. They're Africans too. Their border process is very, very easy. Things are very easy. There's an online portal for people to, before drivers get to the checkpoint, they already input some details on the portal. So once they get there, just for the officers to just confirm these details and let them in. Now, if Nigeria's to, if now saying these things now, Nigeria have to be like, okay, fine. Free trade means we have to improve our border processes. Now, telling us these things, we have to also improve our technology as human development. As advancement, Nigerians are very innovative. When it comes to technological, we are very, very innovative. And that comes from human development. Those brains, those talents out there that are not being used, let's get them in to improve on these things. They're being developed. And the government can just bring in a raw thing. Of course, the brain, the talent is too raw. As a government, you are obligated to train these people, develop them. Do you understand? Develop them. When they are developed, they will also get that attachment of, oh yeah, this is my country. I have to do more for my country. That's number one. That's for the technical aspect of it. Another one is access of bigger markets. When people in Nigeria's informal sector, they take more of the labor force, basically, almost about 198% of the labor force. Yeah. Now, these people are at the moment more confined to local markets than to the regional markets. If it has the opportunity, it has the possibility of exposing them to a larger market where they can sell their goods, access more customers out there. Now, they won't just rely on local funds, what they gain from the petty trading they get locally, but when they have access to bigger market, they will have that thing to innovate, to compete. And when you want to compete, you do what? You have to think, let me get my things right. And when you think you're innovative, you get the benefits, you get profits. That's human development. Now, healthcare too, there's the benefit of foreign direct investment. When foreigners say that an economy is good for business, they want to invest in that economy to gain profits. But while they're getting profit, also impacts the economy because there will be flow of cash, there will be cash inflow, and there will be this ease of business.
Very good, Favor. So let's talk about one critically overlooked aspect of this area you're talking about of free trade and all of it. How trade policies, affect women. You've been advocating for this as a gender advocate or a gender rights advocate or a feminist. And in Nigeria, we know women dominate the formal trading. We know women dominate informal trading rather. Sector. So I want to ask, how can we ensure that Nigeria have an inclusive, market? How can we harmonize it? How can we formalize this sector, especially for women?
Okay, so basically, one thing to do in that respect is that women have been over the years marginalized from economic processes. And then even the science to operate informally is a form of getting money for themselves to survive. Now, when women are being empowered economically, it's to give them the voice. The voice will be there, the power will be there. Right? Now, when policies like this are being implemented, one way to get women to participate, to get them in, is to simplify processes to formalize their businesses. Because free trade, of course, before you can trade, you have to have a formal business. Of course, in Nigeria, even Africa, it's called this system of, for you to trade, you must be formalized because government has access to your data. You have to pay tax and all of that. Now, exactly. In that respect, the government should find a way to simplify this process for them. Because not all those women are educated. Some are not educated. Find a way to simplify this process for them. Someone can't want to just formalize the business and start going through days of bureaucracy processes, just to free farms, go to CSC, do all of these things. These things are hectic. Now, women formalize these things for them, simplify it to them, take it to them. Do they even know about what it means to formalize a business? They don't. Take it to their ear, let them be aware of these things. Create awareness for them. And then while doing so, also create a system to help them do these things easily. Because when they are formalized, when they're formalized, they will be encouraged to want to trade with other for producers from other countries to sell their things outside that basically. And they can't do this until they're formalized, obviously now. So simplify the process for them.
Okay, Favor, I like that you've spoken about policy. I'd like to ask you now, how would you describe the current policies around trade in this administration? Is it supporting economic liberty or is it not? From your own assessment, what would you say?
Okay, I'll be on the fence. Do you know why I said that? Why the government is trying, because some things are not attended to. And Nigerian government, I'm not criticizing, I'm just pointing out some things we need to do.
I mean, that's why you're here. You should put it out.
Exactly. They have a way of cutting legs instead of healing the leg. When we see an issue, we don't tackle the cause, we tackle the symptom. For example, your leg is hurting. Instead of it to find a way to cure what's happening to the leg, look for the root cause of what's causing that pain. You want to cut the leg off. Is that the solution? It will even cause more harm because that way you're amputating yourself. So find a way. Policies that Nigerians are implementing, and of course, there are policies to liberalize the economy, to make things work. There have been in partnership with private entities, the economy, all of that. But then, how about we focus on addressing the systemic issues? It is causing the lapses. When it comes to production, the sector has been undermined for decades. They don't have infrastructure to even produce. They don't have the capacity. They don't have an enabling environment to produce goods. Why not create policies that will enable businesses to thrive? Instead of finding a way to, just liberalize. And I'll give an instance now. The recent tax policy that the president, introduced. Of course, it says small businesses won't have to pay more. That is, of course, cool. It's a good thing. When you don't make more money from a business, it's not cool to burden you again with taxes. Imagine a business, a man that borrowed capital out of a business and is paying tax on this same capital he borrowed. How is he making profit? No way. So I would say the tax reform up in a bit to simplify and unless at least lessen the burden on them.
But the burden is on the big players.
On the big players now. Now, of course, I support that, but
the support burden being on the big players.
That's progressive tariff.
It's progressive tariff, but then I have a but to it.
Okay.
Won't that tax motivate people to remain poor?
If not even shift the business to other areas.
Number one, taxes. When they are not asked to pay taxes, will they be, motivated to grow? Because once they grow, they'll be taxed. That's a normal in my mindset. But for a smart mind, you know that once I grow, I'll get my profits. Of course, I'll pay taxes, but I'll get my profits. But then, in that way, when the big guys are being taxed, what is happening? They dominate the industry. Their products dominate the industry. Won't they charge more on the same product they're selling out? True. Come on, let's consider these things. The policy, of course, in a way, it's good, but it has some buts to it. And the issue is that instead of Nigeria trying to just make tasks look like, oh, we were helping you, about you make this thing make sense. Let's be realistic. Make it make sense. These loopholes, of course, there's a saying that says every law has a loophole, and that loophole is what the bad guys look out for to bank on. Do you get? Now, everybody look for these loopholes and tackle them. Everybody don't even give them any space to even, act on.
Okay. So before Cynthia asks you the next question, you've mentioned loopholes. And I think one major loophole is the lack of collaboration in the region. Many West African countries are not collaborating when we talk about free trade. So what do you think that we can do to ensure that this lacuna is filled? Not just on paper do we have agreements, not just on paper do we have, we are collaborating, but in actual terms, how do we bring this to the fore? How do we really collaborate to ensure that the economy of these West African countries are higher than what it used to be in terms of free trade?
Okay, the AfCFTA is an agreement that binds all countries in Africa to, participate in free trade. and it's the biggest globally, and so far so good in existence. It's the biggest. Now, when we say we have to find a way to tackle these loopholes, we are good. Leaders are good at making policies, but implementing them, I don't know if they're good at that. It's easy for you to just sit down, write a policy brief, pass a bill. How do you implement these things? And that's where collaboration with citizens comes in. I'll demystify that in two ways. Number one, when people are aware of their rights, obligations, and when they are upheld, not infringed by the government, they will not intentionally be the bad guy. That's number one. So the government should do more of telling people, these are your rights. This is what you do. Aware them. I will get pardon on that. Create awareness for that. Inform them. Do you understand? Inform them. And then this issue of enforcement in Nigeria, law enforcement just not meant to, they are known in Nigeria to do a lot of things. They are supposed to protect, but at times they cause harm. And about the system that rules out hurting people. Only one person is liable to kill someone in Nigeria, and that's the military, not the policeman. Only one person can, tell someone, I'll shoot you. And that is people, that's if a criminal is a criminal. But you can't shoot someone because they choose to think or act the way they want to act when it doesn't hurt you as a person. So to address these loopholes, the enforcement operators themselves have to be called back. They have to revisit their responsibilities in Nigeria and in Africa. They have to know why they are called enforcement.
So that means they need a retraining?
They need a retraining, I think. Or let's say, I don't want to say retraining because, of course, they're
already trained.
They're already trained. So I think it falls back to resetting their mindset and creating systems that punish them, not by using one scapegoat once in a year, and that doesn't work. Scapegoats appear every day, but you overlook them. Those ones you overlook, call them to paper. Deal with them. These things will reduce. And also, another thing is incentives. There are two things. Justice is being fair to people, but incentive is a motivation to make people to act the way you want them to act. Now, when people are being incentivized, trust me, people, we are all humans. Humans have a way of acting the way you want them to act when you give them something. It doesn't have to be monetary. But the government can adapt this principle of incentives if you obey a law. It's not only there are incentives, there's a negative opposite incentive. Negative one is when you catch a thief, you deal with him. It's an incentive for acting the way you acted. Now, the good guys, what happened to them? No, Nigerians will be like, there's nothing good in being a good person. Good might be bad, and that you are bad. But when you are good, we should know that it's not about being patriotic. When you're being patriotic, there's a form of motivation for you to keep being patriotic. Do you understand? Let's say for instance now, this issue of traffic rules. People violate traffic every day. Those that obey traffic, you see the camera there and survey. Those that do not violate it, you can announce the best regulator of the month. I think that can work. An instance that, when people are being recognized for doing something good, they are also allowed, they will feel like they should keep doing what they are doing to keep being good. That's a form of incentive. The government needs to adapt that to find a way to, to recognize people, Nigerians that are good. That will at least go a long way.
Sure. You spoke beautifully well about policies, about civic engagement. I like that you've most of our policies, especially in Nigerian trade now, is like a patchwork. There are so many reversals. There are so many waivers. There are a whole lot of loopholes. Just like if I can steal your word. And I like that you have reminded us of transparency for policymakers. And most importantly, you have reminded us of civic engagement. But I want to ask you this question now as a journalist, not just as a free trade fellow now, but as a journalist who is also a free trade fellow. As a journalist, we are supposed to be, watchdogs in the society. We are supposed to be educationists as well. So what can you say the role of journalism is in this? I'll give you an instance. Customs usually puts out, auctions, goods for auctions.
Yes.
And then the last one that came out, everybody were happy. I know I wanted to get some stuff to resell. And then there are so many okay, then another circular came out that first circular that came out was fake.
Okay.
Yes. So that people should hold on, the public should hold on that there will be another circular. But then how can we curb misinformation, especially now that AI, the emergence of,
deep
AI,
fakes.
deep fakes and whatnot, how can we curb, what's the place of journalism, first of all, and how can we curb misinformation?
Okay, so journalists are one of the most important people in Nigeria, even globally. We are pressured, we are burdened with so many things that are our responsibilities. But because someone out of the side to just misbehave, we are burdened even more to counter them and to make things right. And why still carry out our own normal obligation as journalists. So, of course, we can't stop. There are different forms of organization that focus majorly on fact-checking information and countering this misinformation. Now, this is where the big guys come in the media. Of course, every media outlet is supposed to, work constantly to get things right. To, this circular of this circular you mentioned just now went viral on social media.
Yes, it did.
Now, the media at that point, every media is obligated to confirm anything from the government. You have the right to ask them, is this true? You can counter it without even being asked to counter it. Do you understand? Now, there's always Nigerian government always find a form of way of releasing information out there. And of course, media, expect a form of compensation for them to publicize it or to counter whatever. And I feel that's where we make mistakes sometimes. Things like this that affect people, the public basically, we should be concerned about these things. We don't need to be paid to counter information or to, come and talk about a government stuff. Do you get my point? For example, now, if the government is recruiting people, then that is allowed to, post, okay, the government is recruiting.
True.
But before the media will expect the government to come and pay them for advertisements. When it comes to infrastructure, we shouldn't expect them from of payments because it affects people. They're obligated to even take care of with information.
True.
So I feel like that's why we need to cut down our hopes, cut down our take of being paid for information that affects people. If it's about the government recruiting now, of course you can charge for that if you want to. But info such as this affects people a lot. I think that's where we can come in that respect.
Okay, thank you very much. But as we get near to drawing the curtains, I'd like you to let us know right on IMD what reforms you think that you would like to propose to Nigeria's port and customs system to make sure that the trade is more friendly and efficient. Against the background that a lot of people already criticize that free trade is hurting local industries, but it's good for the open market. So while you're speaking about the reforms, have this at the back of your mind, that balance, and then speak about what reforms you propose.
Okay, so when it comes to reforms, striking a balance of free trade out local economy, I beg to differ. It's only out them when the government isn't doing their job. If the government empower them, if the government invests in the sector that manufactures, if the government, because policies that enable a very business environment, it will not hurt them. In fact,
So
they'll be
if,
happy to
favor, so if I am a local rice farmer,
yes.
the government has supported me to have a good farm, to have the tools to farm. First of all, we must understand that there is an ideology in the head of a lot of Nigerians. And when it's coming from outside, it is quality.
Yes.
But the government has empowered me as a Nigerian to have access to all the things I need to farm well, to descend my rice, to make the rice okay. But it will now be only people who are interested in very local foods that will patronize me. But the government has done their job. The government has done its job.
Okay.
By empowering me. I don't know if you understand. So there's free trade and then there's me who is a local farmer. Where is that balance? So I'm going to hurt because people will still prefer the foreign rice.
Okay. I don't want to differ on this one, but I have an alternative view to that.
Okay, go on.
So there is one thing. If you are good, you are good. If you are good, you are good. I will not say a local package that makes sense, is attractive, has 0 stone in it, and sounds good with foreign rice. One is cheaper. It's not possible. Okay, so in that case, the government can do a bit of sensitization by creating awareness of make Nigerians believe in local industries. Of course, if you empower them, nice, good job, guys. But then make them have this belief in these things we're purchasing. And of course, government is trying. The Nigeria First policy is out there that says all government MDAs should purchase.
The Buy Nigeria campaign, yeah.
Exactly, that is a step towards making this happen. But before you can do that, again, I said we tackle the symptoms, not the systemic issues. The government is not investing in these industries, but it wants MDAs to purchase, to buy things from them. That it's certainly standard already. We all have the ideology of Nigerians. No, once the government buys something, it's government money. Nobody cares. Now, producers have the method of, okay, fine, they already set the price. So as a Nigerian, if you want to purchase from me as a Nigerian, you must have money too. That's number one. But like you said, the
reforms are appropriate.
The reforms, that is creating an enabling environment for people to thrive. You can give incentives. As a farmer, you're already empowered to farm with products. You already have your things out there. The government can create policies to make these things work. And that can include, you can't force people to purchase things. They have the right to purchase whatever they want to purchase, right? But then, when the package is good, you can't tell me not to buy if I want to buy. So the primary thing comes from, because the issue you mentioned is the fact that you already have this mindset of foreign things are better. So we should also find a way to tackle. Now, to tackle a problem, you must think of three things. The person that is a problem, where their lens. See from their own perspective, why are they choosing local foreign over local goods? When you understand that perspective, you'll be able to propose solution to that issue and also counter that mindset. So we can come in here by having counter narratives, positive ones, to enable people to find this thing. Nigerians too are good. We are good in our country. We have resources. Let's make use of them. We have resources. We have everything. We have the brain. We have the time. We have everything. So let's embrace our local products. And we have resources, but we're not owning it. In that way, the government can incentivize access to these resources. That producers don't have to purchase imported products to produce our local products.
Right.
Do you get? So that way, I feel like we can make things work out. It's a process, but of course, we definitely get
Okay. Cynthia, do you have any last question for Favor?
No,
Okay.
she said everything. I wanted to ask what she the potential she sees lying here in the next, say, 5 to 10 years. But she has talked about incentivizing this area. So I think that answers it.
All right. So Favor has answered lots of our questions, and I'm sure that our viewers have more questions around free trade, but we invite them to engage across our social media platforms at Idea Television. What questions do you have for Favor around trade policies, around free trade, around the economy, whatever it is? I'm sure that Favor will be available to answer once you respond as you see this video. But thank you so much for coming, Favor.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me as well.
All right. I mean, a lot of the things Favor said hammered on what the government needs to do, hammered on a lot of policy framework readjustments and civic engagement. So we're looking forward to see a Nigeria and Africa that really works around free trade. Thank you once more for coming.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having
And
me.
thank you so much. And to our viewers, this is how we call it a wrap on Idea Morning Digest. Today, we are so glad to have you join us. Like we said earlier, do well to engage across a social media platform by asking questions. Or if you want to say something or even come on the IMD, you can do well to reach out to us at ideatelevisionlimited@gmail.com. And who knows, you can be our next guest. Until we come your way next time, it's bye for now.